Australia's financial watchdog is tonight scrutinising the banks over concerns mortgage holders are being ripped off.
A really interesting story from Effie last night. Australia's financial watchdog is now probing whether bank customers are being ripped off because savings from mortgage offset accounts aren't being properly passed on.
Corporate cop ASIC thinks there might be a big problem. With around $300 billion sitting in offset accounts, the scale of the problem could be huge.
You know, sometimes you think you've got everything sorted. You've worked your guts out, saved every penny, and finally you've got a mortgage, maybe even an offset account, doing everything right to pay off that monster loan faster. You feel like you're ahead of the game, smart with your money, beating the banks at their own game. But what if I told you that even when you're doing everything by the book, even when you're trying to be financially responsible, the system might still be stitching you up? What if the very tool you're using to save thousands on your mortgage isn't actually working the way you think it is? And what if the financial watchdog, the one meant to protect you, is now warning that the banks might be ripping you off right under your nose? This isn't some conspiracy theory, mate. This is a direct warning from ASIC, the Australian Securities and Investments Commission. They're investigating whether some banks have been deliberately failing to link offset accounts properly, costing everyday Aussies thousands in interest savings. It's a betrayal of trust, a quiet little scam that could be happening to millions of homeowners across the country, and it's absolutely infuriating. Before we expose how the banks might be quietly ripping you off with your offset account and what ASIC is doing about it, join our Patreon. We're the resistance exposing the financial scams and government failures that mainstream media won't touch. Link in the description.
Used correctly, an offset account could save you thousands of dollars a year.
Let's start with what an offset account is supposed to be. For many Aussies, it's a financial lifesaver. It's basically a transaction account linked to your home loan. The money you keep in it isn't directly used to pay down your mortgage, but it's offset against your loan balance. So if you owe $500,000 on your mortgage and you have $50,000 in your offset account, you only pay interest on $450,000. Sounds simple, right? And it can save you a fortune in interest over the life of your loan, potentially shaving years off your mortgage. It's a smart strategy, especially with interest rates where they are. People use them for their savings, their emergency funds, even their everyday spending money, knowing that every dollar sitting in that account is working hard to reduce their interest payments. It's a win-win. You keep access to your cash and you pay less to the bank, or so we thought. But here's the grim reality that ASIC is now shining a spotlight on. They've launched an investigation into allegations that some banks aren't properly linking these offset accounts to customers' mortgages. Imagine that. You've got your hard-earned cash sitting in an account, believing it's reducing your interest, but the bank hasn't actually connected the dots on their end. It's like putting fuel in your car, but it's going into a separate tank that's not connected to the engine. You're paying for the fuel, but you're not getting the benefit. ASIC Commissioner Kate O'Rourke explicitly stated, and I quote, "We've heard in some instances the banks have not connected the offset account to someone's mortgage account. This isn't a small oversight. This is a fundamental failure that could be costing homeowners thousands of dollars in unnecessary interest payments. It's a breach of trust, plain and simple, and it's happening at a time when every dollar counts for struggling families." So how could this happen? And what's the real cost to you?
We've heard in some instances the banks have not connected the offset account to someone's mortgage account, and that's bad for the consumer, but we're not sure how widespread that problem is.
The allegations suggest that some banks might be failing to properly link offset accounts, or perhaps not linking them automatically when a fixed-rate loan rolls over to a variable rate. This means customers are paying more interest than they should be, sometimes for years, without even realising it. It's a hidden charge, a silent drain on your finances, all while you're diligently trying to do the right thing. Think about the sheer scale of this. Millions of Australians have offset accounts. Even a small error, a slight delay in linking or a complete failure to link can add up to enormous sums for the banks. For the customer, it means paying interest on the full loan amount, even if they have tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting in their offset account. That's money that could have been used for groceries, for school fees, for medical bills, or simply to get ahead. This isn't just about negligence. It raises serious questions about transparency and accountability within the banking sector. Are these genuine errors, or is there a systemic issue where banks are profiting from their customers' lack of awareness or their own internal inefficiencies? ASIC's investigation aims to get to the bottom of this, but the fact that it's even happening is a damning indictment of the trust we place in these institutions. We've seen this movie before, haven't we? From the Banking Royal Commission exposing widespread misconduct to various class actions against banks for dodgy fees and charges. It seems like every few years, another scandal emerges, reminding us that the big banks aren't always on our side. And this offset account issue feels like another chapter in that long, frustrating saga of financial institutions putting their profits ahead of their customers' best interests. The cost isn't just financial, it's the emotional toll. The stress of managing a mortgage, especially in this high-interest environment, is immense. Homeowners are constantly looking for ways to save, to cut corners, to get ahead. To find out that a tool designed to help them is potentially being sabotaged by the very institutions they trust is a profound betrayal. It erodes confidence in the entire financial system and makes people wonder what other hidden traps are lurking in their banking products. ASIC's investigation is a crucial step, but it's just the beginning. They're probing allegations, gathering evidence, and putting pressure on the banks to come clean.
Launching a surveillance program of 8 banks, including some of the Big Four.
They're looking into whether customers are being ripped off and whether banks have failed in their obligations. If misconduct is found, there could be significant consequences for the banks, including fines and orders to remediate affected customers. This means if you've been impacted, you might be due a refund of the excess interest you've paid, but you don't have to wait for ASIC to finish their investigation. This is where you need to become your own financial detective. The first thing you should do, right after watching this video, is contact your bank. Ask them explicitly to confirm that your offset account is correctly linked to your home loan and that your interest is being calculated on the net balance, your loan amount minus your offset balance. Don't just take their word for it. Ask for a detailed statement or a calculation breakdown that clearly shows how your interest is being applied. Check your statements carefully. Look for any discrepancies. If something doesn't look right, challenge them. Be persistent. Remember, it's your money and you have every right to ensure it's being managed correctly. If you find that your offset account wasn't properly linked, or if you suspect you've been overcharged, document everything. Keep records of your communication with the bank. If you're not satisfied with their response, you can escalate your complaint to the Australian Financial Complaints Authority, AFCA. AFCA is a free, independent dispute resolution service that can help resolve complaints between consumers and financial firms. This is a critical moment for homeowners. With rising cost of living pressures, every dollar saved on your mortgage makes a difference. Don't let the banks quietly pocket your hard-earned savings. Be vigilant, be proactive, and demand transparency. It's the only way to ensure you're not another victim of this potential banking betrayal. This ASIC warning isn't just about offset accounts, it's about the bigger picture of trust and accountability in Australia's financial sector. For too long, it feels like the banks have operated with a sense of impunity, knowing that individual customers often lack the resources or knowledge to challenge them effectively. This investigation is a stark reminder that even seemingly simple financial products can be complex and that vigilance is always required. It also highlights the crucial role of financial watchdogs like ASIC. While it's frustrating that these issues come to light after the fact, their intervention is essential to hold powerful institutions accountable and to protect consumers. But ultimately, the responsibility also falls on us, the consumers, to be informed, to ask questions and to demand transparency from our financial providers. This isn't just about getting your money back. It's about sending a clear message to the banks that this kind of alleged misconduct will not be tolerated. It's about reinforcing the principle that financial institutions have a duty of care to their customers and that trust, once broken, is incredibly difficult to rebuild. In a country where home ownership is such a central part of the national identity, any action that undermines the financial well-being of homeowners is a direct attack on the Australian dream. We need a financial system that is fair, transparent, and works for the benefit of all Australians, not just the profits of a few large corporations. This ASIC warning is a wake-up call, a reminder that we must remain vigilant and hold our financial institutions to the highest standards of integrity and service. The mainstream media won't fully expose the quiet ways banks might be ripping you off or the deeper issues of trust and accountability in Australia's financial sector. They won't tell you how to fight back and demand what's rightfully yours. Join our Patreon for uncensored investigations into the financial system and the tools you need to protect your wealth and your family's future. This isn't just about money. It's about fairness. It's about whether the system is truly designed to help you or to quietly profit from your trust. And if we don't demand answers now, what other hidden charges and unlinked accounts will we discover down the track? It's time to be smart, to be vigilant, and to hold these institutions accountable, because your hard-earned money deserves to work for you, not against you. To see the latest Australian crisis, click this video here.